let me kind of give my thoughts here on this LeBron stuff yesterday. Going back and forth with everybody. People telling me, Al, what are you talking about with LeBron? People love talking about LeBron. People love either... There's two camps with LeBron. It's actually kind of funny to watch from my seat. All right, let me tell you what I mean by that. It's funny to watch from my seat because everybody gets so emotional. Either they freaking love LeBron James and the guy has never made a mistake in his life, or they absolutely can't stand LeBron James and everything that happens is LeBron's fault. Okay? Everything. Doesn't matter. You pick whatever it is. You go to a bad restaurant, you're going to leave in the Yelp review, this is LeBron's fault. Anything that happens, it's LeBron's fault. All right. I'm not as emotional as others when it comes to LeBron. I look at him as one of the all-time NBA greats, and that's kind of the only way that I look at him. I don't try to mix myself with anything else that he gets involved in because I don't care. And I'm sure he's got his own angles in everything that he does. He's a powerful person, and he's used that power as he sits at 40 years old and 22 years in the NBA. Okay, the conversation yesterday about LeBron. Conversation was that he was incredibly selfish. How can he pull out of the All-Star game? I don't care that he pulled out of the All-Star game. But I do understand those that are saying, well, why did he pull out so late? Let me read a couple quotes here. Kendrick Perkins yesterday. He probably knew he wasn't going to play when he was selected for the All-Star game, which that doesn't make any sense to me, but okay. How about giving people a heads up? How about not showing up to the actual All-Star weekend an hour before the game starts, and then all of a sudden you're taking away from another guy who should have earned to be in the All-Star game? Okay, that part I can't argue. I mean, I could tell you this. I can make a case here. I can say that, well, what if Bron was actually trying to play? And then he is 40 years old. It's not like, he's Anthony Edwards or he's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's, somebody. Anthony Edwards not the best sample because he didn't play. But it's not like he was Jason Tatum, 26, 27 years old, and then just pulls out of the All-Star game. Okay, you know what? Maybe I can make a case and say, well, LeBron was trying to go and he couldn't go. But I think there is something here to allowing for another spot, letting somebody else grab that spot. I could relate to that. I'm okay with that angle. Yesterday, I think I mentioned this just as we were starting the show. Yesterday, I thought this was more of a conversation of just Bron not playing in the All-Star game. It's like the guy's played in 20 All-Star games in a row. I'm pretty sure Bron is okay if he doesn't want to play in an All-Star game. And frankly, as a Laker fan, I'm sitting back there like, yeah, I don't give a shit. LeBron's been doing this for how many years? You're going to hopefully have a playoff run with LeBron, with Luka, Austin Reeves, some of these other players, of course, JJ Redick. And I don't care if LeBron, all I care about is Lakers got a game coming up tomorrow against Charlotte. LeBron good? Lakers got 30 games left in the season. They're hanging on to one of those top 5 seeds. Are they good? Is he good? He's obviously going to be a big piece of it. Kendrick Perkins gives his thoughts and basically says, how about you give people a heads up? Okay, I get that. All right, I get that. I understand that argument there. Here's Kendrick Perkins again. Am I mad about Bron not playing? No, I get it. He's 40. But I'm mad about how he went about it. I can sympathize there. I think the actual quote that Stephen A. Smith had out there was that LeBron was being selfish. Okay. I don't think that would be a shock if you told me LeBron was being selfish. I see the angle there. I see where you're coming from. I don't think I woke up this morning and said, LeBron's selfish. No, that would never happen. I understand that. Do I think anything LeBron does is magnified? Absolutely 100%. Do I believe, and I haven't even looked at the comments, I'll look at the comments a little bit later. Do I believe there are some people that no matter what LeBron does, they're going to bitch and complain about it? Absolutely. I do. And I'm sure there's a few people in the comments right now that are just waiting. Slee, you got to read my comment. Slee, you got to read my comment. You got to let people know how much I dislike LeBron James. I can't do anything about that. I can't do anything about that. The only piece of this that I would have some sympathy towards is another player getting a chance to be an all-star. I know there are a lot of Laker fans on here that are rooting for the Clippers, which is fine. I don't blame you. That's not your team. Norman Powell probably deserved to be an all-star this year. Devin Booker probably deserved to be an all-star this year. I'm just naming out names, right? Domantas Sabonis. I don't pay too close attention to, so maybe there's other guys that are more deserving than those players specifically. But I think you guys understand my point. My point is that at the end of the day, I understand kind of somebody having the thought process and the belief that the timing of it, that the frustration of, hey, if he announces this earlier, another all-star can get there. But can I just say this about the all-star game? And then we're going to get off of the all-star game, and then we're not going to talk about it until next year because there's really nothing to talk about with the all-star game. Does anybody really truly give a rat's ass about the all-star game? The answer is no, because all everybody has done is complain about the all-star game. And I'm not saying that at anybody like they shouldn't believe that. I'm the same way. I don't care about the all-star game. The players have clearly told everybody that the all-star game is not important, but there are players that have never been selected to an all-star game where it's probably very meaningful to them to say, I was selected as an all-star. I'm going to keep the conversation going here. Kevin Durant put out this tweet. I think it was yesterday that he put this out. Let me find this here real quick. Kevin Durant put out a tweet basically leaning towards, why don't we just cancel the all-star game? Here's what he said. He said, I think it's more fun to complain about the NBA than to actually watch it. Crazy. Cancel All-Star Weekend, and let's just give everybody a break since we're so miserable around this time. All right, I'll throw this out to people. If tomorrow the NBA announced, guys, we're done with the All-Star game. Everybody gets 1 week off. We just get a break from the NBA, 1 week off. That's it. I don't know if there's going to be people lining up with signs outside of, where the next All-Star game is supposed to be. I think next year it's actually in LA. I want to say it's at Intuit. I think the Clippers have it. It's at Intuit Dome. I don't think there's going to be people picketing outside of the arena saying, we want the All-Star game. We want the I don't think that's going to be happening. Here's my only problem with Kevin Durant and his tweet about why don't we just cancel the All-Star weekend. I don't think fans ever wanted the All-Star game to be canceled. I just think fans basically got very frustrated that none of the players give a rat's ass about the All-Star game, that none of the players care about All-Star weekend, that none of the players – I was reading this yesterday. Remember, I grabbed that clip from Draymond Green about, Draymond sitting back and – saying that it's so disrespectful to have the rising stars in the All-Star game. No, Draymond, what's disrespectful is all the All-Stars don't care about the All-Star game. I would say that that's more disrespectful than having the rising stars there. Not that the rising stars would be my first choice. I think they should probably just expand the roster. If you want to go put 32 players in, 16 on both sides, then you could have your 4 teams if you want to do it that way. 8 players from 4 squads that you have, Shaq's teams. I'm not here to give you the solution. My point is this. My point is the problem with canceling the All-Star game is it's basically the players who don't care about what's supposed to be something highlighted for the fans. I don't want them to get their way of saying, yep, okay, perfect. Now we don't have to do the All-Star game. Okay, what's next? What else are they not interested in while they're getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars or 10 million or 15 million or 50 million or whatever the number is? What else are they not interested in that now will just kind of take away from their plate as well? It's like you got to also give a little bit here. Do something that, if the fans want it. I don't care. I don't look at the All-Star game. I'm going to lose sleep one way or the other. But the idea of canceling the All-Star game, it's like, all right, well, if you cancel it, then players are like, all right, we won. Is there something else they're not interested in that, you're not going to have later? I think the NBA is scrambling to try to find ways to have interest in the league. And I'm not telling you that the All-Star game is the answer, but there's just a couple interesting days around the NBA. I think the NBA right now is in a really interesting position where there's a lot more people that like complaining about the NBA than complimenting what the NBA is doing. So that's something that the league and the players got to keep in mind, because you do this enough. I mean, I don't care what kind of business that you run. If you're not respectful to your customers, it's going to affect your business. It will at some point. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but at some point it's going to affect your business. All right, if you enjoyed this clip and you want more, just subscribe to the channel. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is the Sliwa Show. And then after every Lakers game, post-game show right here.